Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube live where you get to ask me questions on, well, the topic today is the Maharashtra and the Haryana elections, and we urged you to send in questions with the hashtag Ask Sreenivasan. Many of your questions have already come in, but just a quick reminder that you can continue to ask me questions live during this chat, and we will try to respond to them in real time. Okay, so basically, as many of you must have seen, that yesterday were the exit polls for the Maharashtra and Haryana assembly elections, and as expected, the polls predicted a landslide win for the BJP in both states. And broadly, the average of the poll of exit polls was that the BJP and Shiv Sena were projected to get something like 211 out of 288 in Maharashtra, which is well over the halfway mark of 144, and over 60 seats, between 60 and 70 seats in Haryana, which is again comfortably over the halfway mark for that state as well. So that said, there are still some questions that have been thrown up by these election results, and I think it's worth just having a look at them to get you a sense of what people have been asking and saying. So one of the first questions that I'm going to take is from Ratin Sharma, a Twitter user, who says, why aren't Indians voting? A loss of faith in the system. And I suspect by this, Ratin, you're talking about the fact that the turnout has been low this time compared to last time, particularly in Haryana, where it's almost lower by 6 to 7 percentage points. Maharashtra not so much, but Haryana certainly has seen a dip, because Haryana almost saw 75% turnout last time. Now, I don't know, Ratin, whether it's necessarily because of a loss of faith in the system. We simply don't know why turnouts go up or down that easily. These are hard to decode offhand. But do bear in mind that there were a couple of things about these elections which perhaps could have turned people off. One of them was the fact that it comes so soon after a Lok Sabha poll. So it's just come, we had a Lok Sabha poll in May, and then barely 6 to 7 months later you're having another election. So perhaps there's some kind of lack of enthusiasm. And the other reason, of course, could be the fact that people knew what the outcome was. They already sensed what the outcome was going to be. Everyone had assumed that the BJP was going to win, and so that could have also put people off from participating in the voting process. Okay, we've also got some questions coming in from Instagram, and someone called Nainwal has asked, does the Congress need a right hand other than the Gandhis at the national level? And of course, Nainwal, you already know the answer to that question, which is a resounding yes. I think everybody agrees that the Congress desperately needs leadership. Now, Rahul Gandhi has already opted out of leadership. Sonia Gandhi has stepped in for him, but she is not really being a proactive, hands-on Congress president. So the Congress needs leadership of some kind. Whether it's the Gandhis or anybody else is, frankly, in my view, irrelevant. They need somebody to grasp the reins of the party and put things in order, because otherwise what happened yesterday, the kind of outcome you got yesterday, the exit polls, if that's what's borne out on the 24th, that is just going to keep repeating itself in election after election after election. Okay, we have another question from Manav Bodh on Instagram, who asks, in this election, what is the role of the EVM? Will it affect the election or not? Now look, Manav, the thing is that I have to confess that I am not amongst those who believes in conspiracy theories about EVMs. I think that by and large, the Election Commission remains one of the most professionally run outfits, organizations in this country. Yes, there have been individual instances where there are concerns over EVMs, about malfunctioning EVMs, or EVMs where the voter is pressing the button for party A, but the vote is going to party B. But these have largely been isolated instances. Remember, the suggestion that you can use EVMs to rig an election requires you to be able to game a very large number of EVMs to be able to do that. And at the moment, we don't have credible evidence that that is possible. So based on available evidence, I don't think there is any cause for alarmism over EVMs. That said, let me just add a rider that I think we have to be vigilant, we have to watch and monitor the behavior of EVMs, and we also have to keep pushing the Election Commission to clarify doubts and questions, but legitimate doubts and questions, not conspiracy theories. Now, Khan Yunus is asked who's going to win the Maharashtra election. I think Yunus, you've already seen the exit polls. I think you know the answer to that very clearly. Let's see if there are any more questions. Indra Devi asks an interesting question. She says, will we ever be able to see a tough neck-to-neck fight in any elections in India? And I think, Indra Devi, you put your finger on a very important question, because increasingly it appears that elections in India, politics in India has become one-sided. It only appears that there's one main player in the field, which is the BJP and its allies as and when it fights with an ally, and there's nobody else before it. And this is something that many of those of us who believe in a vibrant, robust democracy are concerned about. That democracy is all about contestation. Who wins or loses doesn't matter, as long as there's a good, tough fight that's put up. So, to go back to your question, I think certainly we will see tough fights, but it appears to be mostly when the opponent before the BJP is not the Congress. So, for instance, Delhi is now going to be going into elections fairly soon, the early part of next year, where many people believe that the Aam Aadmi Party will give a tough fight to the BJP in Delhi. Similarly, when West Bengal elections come up, Mamata Banerjee will doubtless put up a tough fight. So, whenever the BJP comes up against a regional party, there it does face more of a challenge. But the Congress at the moment is making Indian politics seem very one-sided, a bit, as I joked last night on TV, like the ongoing India-South Africa test series. Now, Aniket has a question. What do you think of Raj Thackeray? Aniket, that's a good question, because frankly, till you asked it, I'm afraid I had forgotten about Raj Thackeray, and it appeared most people had, because after that huge splash he made in the Lok Sabha elections, held those massive rallies where he'd play those, what he called his viral videos, and it drew huge audiences. It absolutely turned out to be a dud at the ballot. He managed to make no gains at all. The MNS completely was a flop, and it didn't do any damage to the BJP either. So in this election, Raj has been going around saying, and this is a very funny thing for any politician to say, that make me the leader of the opposition. He's not even making a claim that he's going to win the election. He says, just make sure that the MNS is the main opposition party in the Maharashtra Assembly. Now, with that kind of a pitch, it seems highly unlikely that Raj Thackeray or the MNS will have any future, at least in this particular assembly election, and they'll have to do some serious thinking about their future if they want to remain relevant in Maharashtra politics. Okay, we'll just pause for a second, because we're now getting some questions coming in from YouTube, and let me just go through them to see what we find. Okay. So Avinash Kumar asks, is it time for a united opposition despite their personal ambitions, and provide India an alternative which we desperately deserve? Right. Now, Avinash, you know, the idea of a united opposition in a sense was attempted in 2019, where a lot of the parties that were opposed to the BJP tried to form some kind of a front, some kind of a coalition, but we all saw what happened to that. They really couldn't get their act together, they couldn't come up with a common agenda, a common platform, and at the end of the day, it became a series of disparate fights, and the result was there for all to see. So I think, while in theory, of course, the idea of having a united opposition, especially when you're fighting a formidable force like the BJP, is a good idea, in practice, for a number of reasons which, you know, we don't have enough time to get into, it's not working out. And I think a primary flaw remains the fact that the Congress, which is in a sense the central force of the opposition, is just not able to pull it together. And that, I think, is going to continue to haunt attempts at opposition unity, which is not to say that in individual states, opposition parties may not be able to come together and form a kind of anti-BJP front. for instance, as the kind that we saw in Karnataka. But I think at a national or a wider level, it's going to be increasingly hard. Okay. Bimal Panchal says, Shashi Tharoor is an ideal option for the Congress president. Well, Bimal, you certainly would have made Shashi Tharoor very happy, but I don't think the Congress is going down that road. I know his name keeps popping up now and again, but the fact is that the Congress had the option of having a non-Gandhi at the helm when they actually finally sat down months after Rahul Gandhi resigned to appoint a new president. But after all that chintan and manthan, all they could come back with was Sonia Gandhi. Even the names of tried and tested Congress loyalists or lifetime, lifers as they're called, like Mukul Vasnik and so on, whose names were doing the round, Mallikarjun Kharge, Sushil Kumar Shinde, all that didn't count, and it was Sonia Gandhi. So the idea of having someone like Shashi Tharoor, who's got his own mind, who's not seen as a kind of typical Congress loyalist, is extremely, extremely rare. Okay, we just have time for a few questions, and let me just see if there are any more that are interesting. So Abhinav Rakesh is asking, why did the BJP give away so many seats to the Shiv Sena? Well, Abhinav, actually the BJP didn't. The Shiv Sena has fought the least number of seats that it's ever fought since it's got into an alliance with the BJP. It only fought 124 seats, while traditionally it used to fight 171. The BJP has ended up fighting close to 160 to 65 seats. So the Shiv Sena is now officially the junior partner in Maharashtra. So that's where we stand right now with this particular election. So thank you very much indeed, folks. We're going to wrap it up here, though you have many more questions, but we will be live every week, and you can throw in your questions and we'll be certainly very happy to take them. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on this YouTube Live.